Now, let's talk about this. Moonshots. Many companies get comfortable doing what they have always done, making only incremental changes. This incrementalism leads to irrelevance over time. Yeah, I agree, especially in technology, where change trends to be revolutionary, not evolutionary. People thought we were crazy when we acquired YouTube and Android and we launched Chrome, but those efforts have matured into major platforms for digital video and mobile devices. Those efforts have matured into major platforms for digital video and mobile devices and a safer, popular browser. We continue to look forward to the future and to invest for the long term within each of our segments. As we said in the original founders letter, we will not shy away from high risk, high reward projects that we believe in, as they are in the key to our long term success. Okay, so here's the thing that I was going to say. Look, you want to know why? You have to understand that Google is the biggest advertising company we'll ever see, because that's where everyone is going. It's by simple nature. Anyone who's a marketer, anyone who does marketing knows the basic common sense that you want to do marketing where everyone is going, relevant towards what it is, or even where everyone's going in general. Where everyone's going, you want to sell in that area. That's just the way how it works. Where everyone is going to be going the most, that's where you want to sell most of the time. So Google realized that on YouTube, by acquiring YouTube and Android and Chrome, they'll be able to create this stronger advertising, because they'll be able to use the same concept of their search in terms of history to know what people want and sophistication of search that they put that system in YouTube. And now, of course, YouTube's algorithm is terrible, but it's still something so effective that Google used because of YouTube. At least, look, you have to admit it. Ever since Google acquired YouTube, YouTube has become better in terms of search, a little bit better, not hugely better, but a little bit better, a bit more accurate. YouTube was worst without it, because YouTube's a search in a way. People looked at a lot of things in YouTube, and YouTube became way more better when it comes to advertising when they got acquired by Google, because Google knows what people want to look for because they have experience on that. So they were able to use their expertise to an area where it can be used and similar to what they already have in their business. Now, instead of text, they did it with videos, other people's videos, and other people's devices, and other people's popular browsers, right? Here's the cool thing that I like about Google. I think the people who are using even Android are not going to switch to iPhone. Why? Because those users are very specific on their search. Look, people use Android, I'm pretty sure, because of the search that they can get, a more effective search, using a huge diehard Google fan, because they have everything on Google, on their Google Drive, on their Gmail, all this type of stuff. So those people are going to tend to want even custom things that are downloadable. That's even better on Google. You can custom code within your phone on Android. Now, I don't think Android's going to come at all close to iPhone, but it just shows you the niche, the different needings on other people. So it's a unique place. There's not a single person that's doing this like Google, and not even a single person that's doing search, which is the main thing. But at any rate, when they launched Chrome, but those efforts have been turned into major platforms. So now they're talking about AI. Google's actually getting heavily involved in AI. It's going to make it better, but it's not going to make a huge difference, because chatbots just uses whatever. Look, chatbot cannot distinct what is right and what is wrong. So that's somewhat dangerous, because if you use Microsoft Bing, for example, it's ChatGPT, it's just going to grab sources of what it found online and whatever. And if it looked very detailed, Microsoft Bing cannot distinct whether that information is correct. So if an angry 9-year-old decided to write a blog on the internet about some subject, and you're actually looking for some important information about a subject, and you read that 9-year-old's text that the Google that the ChatGPT projected, that's not going to be terribly useful, and that's going to create a lot of misconception. So I don't think Google should do this. I think they have to do a different approach compared to ChatGPT, and I'm pretty sure they are, because they've been developing this for, I think, a decade in AI. So I would like for them to use their search way, something involved with AI there. It would completely destroy anyone who wants to come close to search. It would completely take light years now and destroy Microsoft Edge in terms of search if they put their AI to the search, and better what that approach was with search engines and utilizing these type of data to effectively put it to people, right? Knowing people's wants, information. AI can do that. So I think it's necessary that Google does get involved with AI, but very, very carefully. AI is very powerful, but at any rate, AI is a foundational transformational technology that will provide compelling and helpful benefits to people and society through its capacity to assist, complement, and empower and inspire people in almost every field of human endeavor. As an information and computer science company, we will continue to be at the forefront of advancing the frontier of AI through our path-breaking and field-defining research and development. We responsibly and boldly develop more capable and useful AI every day. I just realized the really funny thing that people have with Google and Microsoft is that they underestimate them because they think they're old companies. They think that they're too big, that they're not going to be enough to grow. Those people are so wrong because they don't realize that these people, these companies, have already all clients here and they're heavily developing in new fields in which everyone's trying to develop, and they have the manpower and they have the experience. I don't see any reason why a little company, now it doesn't mean that it can't happen, right? That doesn't mean it can't happen, but it would take decades. And it would take a very unique person, probably a little bit more than Elon Musk. So that's that's very rare. And I don't think that's like, the odds are so heavily against you if you're thinking like that. So, people underestimate these companies because they think that people, and I understand that view, because people think like, okay, if companies stay for a long time, the more likely they're going to die out. Yeah, but that's very black and white. Whether they're going to die is going to show signs whether they're not innovating towards an efficient scale on getting what they're using, but going to new areas that people don't want to go to, right? And going to bettering their products to make people happier, right? I think a company's requirement is to do both of those two things at the same time. Why? Because they eliminate the amount of the smaller companies to come up. This was the failure of a lot of the companies in the 70s and 80s that they didn't do. Now, a company like Google that was created in 98 learned those mistakes from some other people. So I don't think they're going to likely repeat that mistake. It doesn't mean Google's going to last forever. Absolutely not. But Google's going to last more than what people expect it to not last, because people are putting the wrong expectation on Google and Microsoft, any of these companies, because they already have, and they're already advancing into the approach of what people want. And they already know what people want. They have it on the search. So that's why this approach is going to effectively be better. The internet definitely created a huge difference in terms of, let's say, investing with that, because it's not the same. But what is the same is always those other companies in terms of physical that's not in the internet. Yeah, that type of looking at things can last, but many people don't understand that sort of nature when it comes to uniqueness on person. People overestimate hugely on the factor of a new person coming up and trying to challenge these companies. They overestimate too much. AI already powers Google's core products that host billions of people every day and has been at the foundation of our core ad quality system for years. Okay, that's good. Helping large and small businesses all over the world to produce and run effective and efficient ad campaigns that help grow their businesses. AI makes it possible to search in new languages with multiple inputs, such as using images, text at the same time with Google app. Wow, this is going to heavily influence their Android devices. Interesting. I care more about what they have in internet rather than Android, but I can see the effectiveness there. Some of our most popular products at Google, including Lens and Translate, were built entirely using artificial intelligence technology, such as optical character recognition and machine learning. Google Cloud continues to build AI into numerous solutions that our customers can use to develop AI-powered applications. They're using an AI in the cloud to solve a customer in order to develop their AI-powered applications. Very interesting. It's like to develop their application, including processing documents, images, and translate to understand and analyze data, more efficient, and to use packaged solutions for a variety of industries. In all these examples, AI significantly enhances the usefulness and multiplies the value of these products and services to people and organizations. Our view is that AI is now and more than ever critical to delivering our own mission. As we bring our breakthrough AI innovations into the real world to assist people and benefit society everywhere, we are also pursuing further advancements that will help to unlock scientific discoveries to tackle humanity's greatest challenges and opportunities. But I know for sure from what I'm reading from this, now we haven't read it, I still have much more to read, but from what I'm reading from this, Google is I can already see that Google is a predictable company. It's a potential. I'm not saying that it's a full, because I have more, I need more to read, but Google is a potential predictable company with a very predictable large growth. Because what I know for sure is that cloud and AI, which are future things that are going to happen, are going to propel the amount of consumption and innovation with profits that Google will take in, which will enhance more better applications and even new applications people haven't done before. That's definitely a growth. That's definitely a growth. So we make it a priority and a predictable. People are not going to stop using Google. So like we make it a predictable. Everyone uses digital. People use Google every day. I don't know a single person who doesn't use Google every day, because you need to go somewhere or need to understand a solution, right? We make it a priority to protect the privacy and security of our products, users, and customers, Even if there are near-term financial consequences, we do this by continuously investing in building products that are secure by default, strictly upholding responsible data, practices that emphasize privacy by design, and building easy to use settings that put people in control. We are continually enhancing these efforts over time, whether by enabling users to auto-delete their data, giving them tools such as My Ad Center to control their ad experience, or advancing anti-malware, anti-phishing, and password security features. For reporting purposes, Google compromises two segments: Google Service, which is 90%, 89% of their revenue, and Google Cloud, which is 9% of their revenue. Well, that means that their other bets that they said it makes up about like 1% of their revenue. 1% of the revenue is about 290 billion. So 1% of 290 would be like 2.9 billion. Let's talk about Google Services, which is about 89% of their revenue. We have always been committed to building helpful products that can improve the lives of millions of people worldwide. Our products' innovations are what makes our services widely used, and our brand is one of the most recognized in the world. Google Services' core products and platforms are Ads, which is the biggest, Android, Chrome, hardware, Gmail, Google Drive, Google Maps, Google Photos, Google Play, Search, YouTube, and a broad and growing adoption by our users around the world. Our products and services have come a long way since the company was founded more than 2 decades ago. Rather than the 10 blue links, to our early search results, users can now get direct answers to their questions using their computer or mobile device, their own voice, a photo, or an image, making it quicker, easier, and more natural to find what they are looking for. Of the searches we see every day, 15% are new. That's really high. Each search that they get every day is always a new search. Why? Because there's trends. Humans have trends. There's always new trends people look for. But that's a huge amount. That shows that the amount of people nowadays, because everyone's on the internet, everyone's trying to get into the next trend of what another person, celebrity is doing, and everyone starts to search that. More people becoming like sheep in that sort of way of saying. That's why people become LGBT and all this type of stuff, because of new things. It's pretty interesting, and they're excelling at that. Google, the one thing that's important for Google is to maintain a neutral position in all this type of stuff and support a lot of them, because when a company's in that much control of data, you do not want them to be a hardcore conservative. Absolutely not. That'd be terrible. You want them to be a neutral, let's say, bias, while at the same time supporting all manners of ideas and cultures. You want as much transparency in the outside. In the inside, you want as much security. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. So this drive to make information more accessible and helpful has led us over the years to improve the discovery and creation of digital content both on the web and through platforms like Google Play and YouTube. People are consuming many forms of digital content, including watching videos, playing games, listening to music, reading books, and using apps. Working with content creators and partners, we continue to build new ways for people around the world to find great digital content. Fueling all these great digital experiences are hardware. This is why we continue to invest in platforms like our Android mobile operating system, Chrome browser, and Chrome operating system, as well as growing our family of hardware devices. We see tremendous potential for devices to be helpful and make people's lives easier by combining the best of our AI, software, and hardware. This potential is reflected in our latest generation of hardware products, such as the Pixel 7, the Pixel 7 Pro. Yeah, I've seen that. Definitely has AI. I've seen like an ad that they took like a photo and they removed all the background. Yeah, definitely have AI. And the very first Pixel watch, creating products that people rely on every day, is a journey that we were investing in long term. Wow, Google is going to be a huge company in the future because that's where everyone has things. Everyone is using the search. And in terms of AI, Google's excelling at that because they could use the information now. Look, you have to understand that AI is useless if you don't have information to give it in the first place. That's actually how AI is developed. If you don't have enough information in the first place, AI is not going to be a huge difference to solve many problems. So in another way of speaking, the more data something has, obviously with an effective AI in the first place, when you have effective data of a lot amount of data with an effective AI, oh my God, like that's going to do things so effectively than anyone can do. So I don't see anything that's going to stop them, even people using devices, not even Apple, because Apple's different, but that doesn't mean that Apple won't either. Apple has a huge dominance when it comes to platform compatibility from the user interface. Apple is the best when it comes to user interface. It's the best user interface company in the world, and it will continue to be. But in terms of utilizing effective search, effective use of features, let's say, when it comes to search web or advertising, right, and what you want to look for, and finding things, right? Because that's what's effective, finding things from what people upload, or let's say finding things in review that people go, which is on search as well. People review, and Google acquiring other companies. I would like if Google acquired Yelp. That would be good. This is funny. I'm like thinking of all these things because I'm starting to see a bigger value than what I thought Google had. Here it is, how we make money. We have built, this is a phenomenal company. I can already see it last for decades because of what I just thought. For decades. That's how think about it, because it's a large growth company. All these type of things are going to propel. It's going to last for 40 years. We have built for more than 40 years, for sure. We have built, but I need to, it's potential. We have built world-class advertising technologies for advisors, agencies, and publishers to power their digital marketing businesses. Our advertising solutions help millions of companies grow their business through our wide range of products across devices and formats. And we aim to ensure positive user experiences by serving the right ads at the right time and by building deep partnerships with brands and agencies. As Google Services generates revenues primarily by delivering both performance and brand advertising that appears on Google search and other properties such as YouTube and Google Network partner properties like Google Network. Okay, there we have it. Google makes a lot of money from brand advertising. Why? Because they have Google search. They have a lot of the search. Google is the biggest advertising company in the world. They make all the advertising revenue because of their product of using the ads, because everyone is going there. People are not going to stop using YouTube. People are not going to stop using search. And now talking about their AI, that's going to propel that even more. AI is just a bonus to me, but I definitely see that it will last long. And I would say for sure, they're definitely going to be the ones, if not the best, at least putting their foot in AI because they have the data. So we continue to invest in both performance and brand advertising and seek to improve the measurability of advertising so advertisers understand the effectiveness of their campaign, which is the search. You see, with the system of search, they could provide that system of search of analyzing behavior by giving it to their own customers like advertisers, in which they can become like a mini Google in terms of advertising. I love that. That's definitely effective. Performance advertising creates and delivers relevant ads that users will click on, leading to direct engagement with advertisers. So these are also like cookies. Yeah, that's essentially cookies. Creates and delivers relevant ads that users will click on and lead to direct engagement with advertisers. Performance advertising lets our advertisers connect with users while driving measurable results in which they can control. Our ads tools allow performance advertisers to create simple text-based ads. Brand advertising helps enhances user awareness of the affinity for advertisers' products and services through videos, text, images, and other interactive ads that run across various devices. We help brand advertisers deliver digital video and other types of ads to specific audiences to their brand building marketing campaigns. What are these type of brands? McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Apple, Microsoft, everything. Nvidia, L'Oreal, Gucci, Nike, yeah, everything. Adobe, Amazon, Bank of America, American Express, Louis Vuitton, yeah, many others. Like I can, where people remember, it's this simple. The more where people are going at, the more there's going to be advertisers because there's effective means of advertising. So it's just that's why you see that simplicity that I understand. This is a company that I understand as of so far more than what I understand in Microsoft. I still have to complete a few things, but you see the fastness here, what I'm going through. This is called me understanding this sort of thing. I understand it. And it's completely, look, they're making more money on ads. Microsoft is not making anywhere, not even close, not even focusing on the ad part. So who is mainly making a lot of the ad revenue? Well, it's obviously going to be Google, Amazon, and Metaverse. First of all, talking with Amazon, Amazon does not have anywhere close to if they want to get advertising to the way of Google, because advertising is more useful if you have all the places and means to advertise at once where people are looking at. And where are people looking at? Websites, YouTube, and search. Amazon can't do that. Amazon only advertises with the business that they could give out in terms of e-commerce or streaming platforms that they have. But in order to go to Amazon, you have to go to Google. You see, if you want to go on Amazon, if you want to look at Twitch, which Amazon owns, you have to go on Google search. And where people are going to likely see more of Twitch's advertisements, well, on YouTube, they're going to see it on search more than going in Google. You see what I mean? And going into Amazon and seeing the advertisements there. Because I know for a fact that there's more people around Google in search, a million times more than what Amazon has. Like probably if you combine the Amazon Web Services with the Amazon e-commerce with their streaming services combined, it still wouldn't be close to Google's just search in total. And metaverse, on the other hand, it's the same thing. In order to enter Facebook or Instagram, you need Google. Well, in Instagram, you need the application. But metaverse is its own thing. That's just social media. Not everyone's gonna always use. People are gonna use social media, but people aren't gonna look for effective answers compared to search when it comes to knowing things of getting an answer more than social media. That's not gonna be it, right? And who has a whole big control in social media still? Google does, and YouTube. And metaverse only just has social media. So obviously the one who's going to be effectively better at social media advertising is metaverse. And in fact, many people don't know this, but metaverse makes 90% of its revenue just from advertising. So that's not incredibly good, because that makes them a bit prone and vulnerable just towards advertising, right? But that really means that of where everyone's going in social media. If everyone decides to not use much of Facebook's products, Facebook would be broke, which is, I don't like that. Like Facebook, people, but again, that's very hard. That's not going to likely happen. People are going to still use Instagram and all these sorts of platforms, but it shows that if they stop using that, Facebook's going to stop making money because no one's going to Facebook. Facebook makes money from its advertising in Instagram and Facebook, but that's only in terms of everyone that's in Facebook and in their products, WhatsApp, and all these type of things. But to get the ads, all these platforms, you need to go to Google. You see what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. If you want to go to Facebook on your computer, you don't have the application. You need to go to Google and search it. And you're going to get the advertisement on some other website, like on, let's say on Finbus, on Facebook's advertisements in search. So Facebook is going to pay Google for ads. See, so it's not, and it's the same thing with YouTube. I see a dominance there. There's nothing that can come ever close to it. Now, of course, you might be saying, but like that's the same thing as like Google not being more vulnerable towards search, and it's YouTube. Yeah, of course. And it's Gmail and other products. Yeah. But it's much more predictable. And that's with every company. It's much more predictable that Google is going to stay in its search, in my view, more dominant, more sure than what Facebook has, because of what it's revolved in. Social media is a term of what people like in trends. If people somehow find another product in where there's more usability, there's more contact in what people like to see in terms of connecting with one person to the other across the world, and have a means of exchange and discussion about many things openly and seeing what the other person is doing more than Facebook, which could happen, potential to happen. Nothing is impossible. Facebook would lose money because Facebook is reliant on how many people are using their products. In terms of where they're making most of their money is the advertisements they charge, they bring to the users. It's no different from Google, but Google, you see what I mean? It's a different product. It's much more predictable that Google will stay in there. But at any rate, we have allocated substantial resources to stopping bad advertising practices and protecting users on the web. We focus on creating the best advertising experiences for our users and advertisers in many ways, including filtering out invalid traffic, removing billions of bad ads from our systems every year, and enclosing monitoring the sites, apps, and videos where ads appear and blacklisting them when necessary to ensure that ads do not fund bad content. We continue to focus on growing revenues beyond advertising from Google Play, hardware, and YouTube subscriptions, such as Google Play generates revenues from sales of apps and in-apps purchases, which is very effective for Android. Some part was anyone who has Google Chrome as a laptop, but I see it more Android. Hardware generates revenues from sales of Fitbit wearable devices, Google Nest Home products, and Pixel devices. Okay, very small revenue. YouTube non-advertising, I think the biggest revenue there, generates subscription revenues from services such as YouTube Premium and YouTube TV. And there we go. We just summed up all the Google services. These are all dominant. YouTube dominant. Advertising in its search of the total products, ads, that's what it's referring to. It's making ads on search websites, and all these things are not going to come remotely even close to the other companies. Google Cloud. Google was a company built on the cloud, and we continue to invest in our crowd on the Google Cloud offerings, including Google Cloud Platforms, Google Workspace, such as Google Cloud Platform provides leading technology in cybersecurity, data analytics, and AI, and machine learning and infrastructure. Our cybersecurity products help customers detect and respond to a broad range of cybersecurity threats. Our data cloud unifies data lakes, data warehouses, data governance, and advanced machine learning into a single platform that can utilize data across any cloud. We provide customers an open, reliable, and scalable infrastructure that enables them to run workloads anywhere on our cloud, at the edge, or in their data centers. Additionally, Google's Workspace, easy to use and secure communication and collaboration tools, which include apps like Gmail, Docs, Drive, and Calendar Meets, and more, and enable secure hybrid work, boosting productivity and collaboration. Okay, that's interesting. Google has a bit of a different approach when it comes to cloud compared to Microsoft, because Microsoft already provides its cloud in terms of what it has in its 365's application. That's interesting. Cloud, on the other hand, already runs sort of like a data housing in terms of unifying the data and helping others by AI. I would say that, again, AI is competitive, but very competitive. But Google seems to me more likely to advance with AI than Microsoft because they have the amount of data they can, more than Microsoft has. Microsoft, on the other hand, can have a more structured, better data when it comes to the data that you're putting in terms of what you have in their apps, which means that they have to stay dominant in their apps, which will happen. That definitely will happen. So that's one area. You see they're dominant in there. And with personal computing, they can have. Amazon, on the other hand, just has really good amounts of connection when it comes to data sharing in a way. But who has the most data? And where you can have, remember, data, people use to like things in what they already have when it comes to search. People have things in search, in their applications in search. Google can utilize that and put that into the cloud more than Amazon because Amazon doesn't have the accessibility of search. Neither do they have the products that Google has, like YouTube. Amazon just has their streaming services. That could be effective, but that's a limit because that's not what everyone uses. You see like the limit there? The Google doesn't have limits here. And talking about its documents here, they're still dominant too because they're better when it comes to search research. So Microsoft just is more about data organizing. It's best for data organization and data outputs and putting more data. It's better. It's more data used. Why? Because Microsoft is when it comes to malware and operating system and softwares. So they know exactly how to do with that. You see how it revolves, like in what a company knows later in the future, it's going to help them. And I love this because of what Google has already. That's why I think their cloud and AI is going to succeed very well because they already have the means in what revolves and what everyone wants to use. That's the same thing what I see in Apple. It's the same approach. Only in Apple it's more like a means of what you use for a lot of things. But Google, definitely a behemoth. Now, other bets. Across Alphabet, we are using technology to try to solve big problems that affect a wide variety of industries, from improving transportation and health technology to exploring solutions to address climate change. I don't think they're going to be dominant in that, but I could be wrong because other companies are already doing that at a more excelling rate. But that's why I stick with its dominance. Alphabet's investment in the portfolio of other bets include businesses that are at various stages of development, ranging from those in the R&D phase to those who are in the beginning stages of commercialization. Our goal is for them to become thriving, successful businesses. Other bets operate as independent companies, and some of them have their own boards of independent members and outside investors. While these early stages businesses naturally come with considerable uncertainty, some of them are already generating revenue and making important strides in their industries. Revenues from other bets are generated primarily from the sale of health technology and internet services. Our business is characterized by rapid change as well as new disruptive technologies. We face formidable competition in every aspect of our business, including from general purpose search engines, not even close, vertical search engines, not even close, e-commerce providers, okay, for queries related to travel, nope, jobs and health, meh, not as much, which users may navigate rather to than go through Google. Our advertising platforms, not at all, like definitely dominance. No one can come at all when it comes to their advertising because they have the means to advertise. Everyone's going. Other types of advertising, such as billboards, magazines, newspapers, radios, and television, as our advertisers typically advertise in multiple media, both online and offline. No, not as much. Digital content and application platform providers, nope. What I mean when I say nope is like no other can come to that, can come to the value that they give. Providers for enterprise cloud services, companies that design, manufacture, and market consumer hardware products, yeah, kind of close into that, including businesses that have highly developed property platforms such as Microsoft and Apple. Providers of digital video services, not as much. No, not as much. The biggest would be Amazon, but no, not as much because Amazon's different. Amazon's more of a streaming. This is more video of any kind of video, so it's different. So social networks, which users, I would say that Amazon has more relevance, more dominance when it comes to movies or shows, obviously, than YouTube has. But in terms of social media and learning about things and networking, yeah, overall learning like in search, but with digital video content, that's YouTube. No other person can come close to that. Social networks, which users may rely on for product and service referrals, rather than seeking information through traditional searches. No, people will still use search. May rely on product first. No, people will still use, because that's a different feel. That's more professional. So people are still going to use the search to find, because they rely on search. Search, that's like the brand there. People will find the means of contacting from another person from in the search. That's why they make a lot of money in advertising, because everyone pays them the advertising. That's why it's so effective. People aren't going to pay more at the advertising from doing it independently from their products and services. They're going to do it through Google because everyone tries to get through things through Google. So they're going to pay more Google. You see, so that's not even at all. They're dominant in that. Providers of workspace communication and connectivity products and digital assistant providers. Competing successfully depends heavily on our ability to develop and distribute innovative products and technologies to the marketplace across our business. For example, for advertising, completing successful depends on attracting and retaining users from whose other products and services are literally one click away, largely on the basis of the relevancy of our advertising, as well as the general usefulness, security, and availability of our products and services. That's not a worry at all to me. Advertisers primarily based on our abilities to generate sales leads and ultimately customers to deliver their advertisements in an efficient and effective manner across a variety of distribution channels. Nope, because they already have the service and product that they could definitely generate those leads. That's what people are going to use it. They're not going to just do it from themselves. They are going to do it from themselves, but that's a different niche that Microsoft has or Amazon has. That's why they look, Amazon has literally become the way how it is because of that niche, because of that advertising that people wanted to go specifically from the cloud, because they found like a good marketplace. But that's just one marketplace within one giant marketplace of Google search. It's like comparing a country to the entire world. Content providers, primarily based on the quality of our advertiser base, our ability to help these partners generate revenues from advertising in the terms of our agreement with them. Nope, definitely going to be dominant there. Ongoing commitment to sustainability. Okay, that's just renewable energy. That's a lot of companies are doing that. That's not what it's going to make it more money. Yeah, that's just a lot of companies do that. Government regulation, blah blah blah. Okay, so the end conclusion is I understood every product there. You see the difference? I understood every product and they're wholly dominant. Okay, so I understand this business. This is a business I would invest in. Every product makes me sense, and people will stay into it. Absolutely, nothing can stop them with that. Because what's Google's biggest competitor? Apple, Microsoft, Amazon in terms of advertising. But you see, they don't come close. Amazon is just one little world to the big world of where everyone is going. The thing here you have to understand is it's where everyone is going. The second biggest competitor to Google, I would say, is Microsoft. More than Apple, it's Microsoft. And Microsoft is different. Microsoft doesn't have the means of those services that Google has in terms of ads, especially because no one goes to Microsoft. Because Microsoft doesn't have YouTube, it doesn't have their own devices that sophisticated. They're not propelling and incentivizing more of the AI uses. And that I'm talking about Google services. Google Cloud, you know my stance with that. I mean, Google Cloud is really good, but I don't see a big difference in terms of Azure. I see the difference when it comes to the user having more control they have more control when it comes to, if we talk about Google Cloud, they have more control in terms of their platform connection and getting data, which is hilarious because Microsoft is good at that. But Microsoft is focusing more of the platform to platform. Rather, this is more of the warehousing, getting the infrastructure to the person and putting that already with their existing uses and where they're going to still use if they still use more of the search. People are going to still use the Microsoft in terms of the hard data in instructing, which I think, to be honest, it depends. That's the very thing that I don't understand because people, look, cloud is on the internet. A thing can change in which people use even whether more data within the internet rather than the data within getting it to a place or software or an application. People are likely going to use the data in terms of all. So, but still, people are still going to use the other. It's a different niche. In data infrastructure, Microsoft Azure, in terms of platforms, from what it has, from its apps, is going to be dominant, and it's not going to stop. But Google has already the internet, and cloud is basically the internet. So I don't know. I don't know the clear answer to that because internet, I don't know. I know internet is more widely. That's how cloud is. That's literally what cloud is. Now that's hardware. I mean, that is hardware. That's how you connect, but that's also within software and what they're getting within the results of what people try to look for. Look, at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that where people are going to find the most accurate results of search and what they want to get is going to be on Google. If people want to get their search efficiency in terms of data, when it comes to infrastructure, laying out the data, sufficiently able to cross-platform with another data analytics, most of all analytics. Yeah, analytics in terms of a few apps, but I think the wide general analytics is going to be on Google Cloud. You see how I'm finding a dominance regardless of thinking each situation, but I'm more strong with Google services than it's Google Clouds, which is perfectly fine because this is 89% of its revenue. This is just 9%. This will increase, but that's not a worry to me. In fact, I would like it to increase for them to become better because that's what they're going to do. And they're strong in growth. So this to me is a large growth and predictable company and a deep value company. This is an enormous brand.